Now we're going to turn to the latest fallout from a very shocking video showing a beating inside a prison in New York that's led to outrage and calls for reform. Shocking is a word to use here, and we have to warn you about this. It is extremely difficult to watch. The body cameras show the officers repeatedly hitting 43-year-old Robert Brooks while he was restrained on a medical exam table. Brooks died a day later, and his family is demanding action against the officers involved here. Our national correspondent, Jericka Duncan, is here. She spoke with Brooks' son and his brother. This is her first network TV interview. Jericka, good morning.
Good morning to you. We sat down with Brooks' family just moments after they filed a federal civil lawsuit over the death of Robert Brooks. The results of an autopsy haven't been revealed yet of the official cause of death, but his family says it wants the officers behind the attack brought to justice.
I keep living the same nightmare over and over.
Robert Brooks' son, Robert Brooks Jr., believes his father's civil rights were violated after his dad was transferred from another prison in central New York last month.
What did you see when you watched that video?
So what I seen was torture, was anger, and overall hate. That's all I could grasp from that video. I seen a helpless man, and I see myself in him, because I am his son.
These were just some of the final moments of the 43-year-old's life on the night of December 9th. It was captured on body cameras worn by officers at the Marcy Correctional Facility. The video was released 2 weeks ago by the New York Attorney General's office and shows corrections officers repeatedly punching and kicking Brooks while he's handcuffed on an infirmary bed. Brooks's limp body and bloodied face is seen taking repeated blows. At one point, an officer is seen trying to shove white material into Brooks's mouth. Another officer is seen grabbing him by the neck. The next morning, Brooks was pronounced dead. He had 3 years left on his sentence.
Your father was convicted of stabbing his ex-girlfriend, your mother.
Yes.
And that's why he was serving a 12-year sentence. You're his son. You clearly forgave him.
He did the crime, and he was doing the time. He was coming home, that's what prison's for, and that's not what my father got. He got a death sentence.
What would you say to those officers or the nurses that were there to witness the beating?
I hope that you're man enough to admit to what you did.
I want them all to get prosecuted. It was murder. There's no other word for it. They murdered my father. They robbed him. They robbed him from me. He doesn't get to come home.
The state attorney general's office has assigned a special prosecutor to investigate Brooks's death.
What we see is a clear systemic problem that makes the people on the video think they can do what they're doing because they don't think anybody's watching.
Attorneys Elizabeth Mazur and Steve Schwartz represent the Brooks family.
No person of good conscience can look at that video and say this should happen in America. But when somebody is shackled and beaten the way Robert Brooks was, no one can, in good conscience, can justify that.
He recently told me that he asked for forgiveness for everything, and he felt the Lord came to him. It just makes me okay knowing that he's at peace. That's truly the only thing that makes me okay.
Governor Kathy Hochul here in New York has called the video horrific and ordered the state's Department of Corrections to begin the process of firing the 14 staff members allegedly associated with Brooks's death. Now, a spokesperson for the department told us they do not comment on pending litigation. As for those body cameras, the New York Attorney General said they weren't activated at the time of the beating, but were still on and recorded video without sound in what is known as standby mode. So you don't have the audio, but you obviously have the pictures. I know there are people in law enforcement literally that have said, well, we don't know what happened before, but we saw what happened in those moments. And these officers should be held to a higher standard. They're supposed to be trained.
Yes.
And what I think everyone saw here was very horrifying, as the governor said.
Yeah, ad nauseating to that. I'm glad that there isn't audio because I don't want to hear the audio of this man's last moments. But he wasn't even treated like a human being. Listen, there was a crime committed, I hear that, but he wasn't treated like a human being. What we watched was so cruel and so despicable. Yeah. And he's handcuffed.
And he's handcuffed, and his legs are ultimately bound.
He's handcuffed.
And his family said, as hard as it is for them to keep seeing this video play out in the news, they want it to be played out because they want to shine light on what happened to their father, Robert Brooks.
Yeah, it does make sense to me. Jericka, thank you very much. I know you'll stay on it. Thank you.